Get ready with me while we talk about how to move from self-blame and guilt to grace and self-forgiveness. So if you haven't watched part 1, make sure that you go back and watch it, because I talk about how sometimes we have these narratives or stories in our brain that outweigh the abusive behaviors we see in front of us. One of the biggest signs that you are still blaming yourself and feel guilty is self-deprecation. Like where you're saying things to yourself like, how could I have been so stupid? I was such an idiot. So the next time that you find yourself in this self-deprecation mode, instead of staying in there, I want you to ask yourself, but what was I telling myself in that moment? And discover what your narrative was. Because reality is, you weren't necessarily being stupid. You weren't necessarily an idiot. You may have just been trying to keep your family together. You may have been terrified of leaving. But once you understand your narrative, then you can actually start treating yourself with more grace and correct that self-deprecative talk, where all you're doing is just beating yourself up over it. You also need to stop holding your past self to the knowledge and the standards that your present self has. You have learned a lot since you've left this relationship. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with taking responsibility for the choices and decisions that you made that got you to where you are, but doing it in a way that is self-deprecating and mean to yourself is completely counterproductive. And it holds you stuck in this place where all you are is just mad at yourself and you can't forgive yourself for it. And I just find it interesting that a lot of us were very quick to let things go with our ex in the relationship, but when it comes to forgiving ourselves, we struggle. Let that one sink in. So discover what your narrative was. What was the story you were telling yourself? Accept the responsibility of it and just learn from your mistakes. And then also through therapy or whatever route that you take, find out what the things are that happened in your life that allowed you to accept this kind of behavior from someone else. You do those things and keep on your healing journey, I promise you, you are lowering your chances significantly of ever falling into this again.